Hey, what is up, everybody? Happy Sunday morning, week 6. Excited to talk everything today with Ben and Sam, DFS, and we'll get into the betting side of things. As always, you can find all of our content at dfskarma.com. You can talk to us in our Discord channels, see some of the premium core plays that all of us are playing in specific and the rest of our staff as well. Obviously, that's under the subscribers button. It's big, it's orange, it's on the homepage, and then everything happening at betkarma.com to look into some of the Karma picks, the player props, which is a great feature I love checking out on Saturday nights as the props start rolling in and just get my head in the game for everything that we're going to talk about today. So we'll do the usual. We'll take your questions. We'll start, as always, kind of jibber-jabbering about the game theory of the slate, any injury news. I mean, Ben, I'll start with you. I feel like this is the first, I don't want to say more quiet Sunday unless we get some kind of interesting news, but I feel like every Sunday has just been wild, in 2020 with COVID stuff, let alone some injury news each week. So are we waiting for anything in specific to still come out that could affect things or change the dynamic of the slate? And then, let's just start hearing your game theory on the slate, Fanduel, DraftKings, and then we'll go to Sam, and then we'll start going through position by position slowly and while taking questions at the same time.
Yeah, I think as far as injuries go, really the two bigger ones, Jordan Wilkins, I think really positively affects Jonathan Taylor if he's out, so we need that news. And then, if Jordan Howard is a healthy scratch again, is a really big boost for Myles Gaskin. So I think that's really the two pieces of news that we're waiting on. I don't know if we're going to get that Jordan Howard news before 1 o'clock, so that could be interesting if if he ended up playing or something. I don't know, that would be interesting. But, he was out last week. Gaskin looked really good, scored from inside the 5, so I'm assuming that he's going to be out again. And Jordan Howard also posted on Instagram yesterday, some quote, you can only hold me down for so long or something. So I'm assuming he's not going to play again. But not a ton of injury stuff. Most of the stuff came early this week, which is good. Sam, for some reason, I cannot see the questions because it's messing up your guys' camera. So if you can handle that, that would be good. But I think this is a really good slate.
I need alt in this chat.
Yeah, I know. Where's he at?
That guy asks, we're on the same wavelength every week, probably for the worst. But
he's literally been here for years. He's been here years.
Such a goat, dude. Oh my god. Let's see. First one. Then let's see. Mustard, David Johnson, Kenyon Drake, Ronald Jones, pick 3. I am kind of out on Kenyon Drake until he shows he's not dust. He's not even dust.
Pick actually. 3. I think Mostert for sure. 1.
Yep. Ronald Bones.
And then Ronald Jones is fine with this Fournette. Probably not going to play much news. So then you're just picking between Drake and David Johnson. I honestly probably would lean Drake just because the Cowboys are so bad. But it's close.
It's Chase Edmonds. No,
I know. Chase Edmonds, I think for sure is just better. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie.
You guys are both more Fanduel than me. Fanduel Cash, AJ Brown, or Claypool. I assume it's gonna be Claypool is too cheap.
Yeah,
I think
he's just too cheap, man.
Yeah, I mean everyone's gonna play him. I actually am making a quote unquote #bad play probably in Fanduel Cash by avoiding AJ Brown as of now. I mean, I know he's an amazing play. But my thoughts are I still really like my lineup without him. And this is something I kind of mentioned yesterday early in the morning in our Discord chat, just trying to give, it's not like it's the right advice. I mean, Ben and I have talked about it in the past, but once in a while I see a slate that I do try to go 1 for 1, win my Fanduel / either lose Fanduel or win DraftKings. And right now I am playing Derrick Henry on Fanduel, fading him in my main lineup on DraftKings, but kind of going with the Tannehill to AJ Brown stack in cash games on DraftKings. So in theory, I should potentially, again, it comes down to bankroll management. If you guys are allocating XYZ dollars to specific main lineups on both sites, you potentially could go 2-0, but I really think this is a great GPP week, which Ben, I'll go back to you again. Let's talk a little bit about the slate. There is a lot of ways to go. I mean, I know that there are some quote unquote every week cash options, right? And value plays, but I mean, talk to me your thoughts on, besides some of the, core plays, which you can find on the website literally in about an hour, where are you going to get leverage? And then we'll go to Sam, like, where are you going to see some of your leverage pivots and some of your three-man, entry stacks this week?
Yeah, early on in the week, I thought I was going to be all in on this Lamar to like Mark Andrews stack, and I still have exposure to that, but I just don't like the way my teams look because they're both expensive at positions that there's pretty good cheaper options at. So it's kind of leaving me spending down at running back, which I don't like to do. So I've kind of come on to definitely the Packers Bucks game stack that no one apparently is playing, even though it has a 56 over under. And then I know Sam will hate this, but I've really come on to the Kirk Cousins stack, run it back with Calvin Ridley on Fanduel and run it back with Julio on DraftKings. I can't believe how cheap Julio is on DK, and no one's playing him because he's hurt, but he didn't even carry an injury designation into this game. So it seems like he is good to go, not like that game that he left early a couple weeks ago. So I really like that stack, and that's my main tournament team on both sites is Cousins, Thielen, and then one of Ridley or Julio.
Look, dude, I mean, Kirk is not as bad as I rip on him all the time, but I guess it's more for me. I mean, again, it depends on the site. I mean, for me, like, I just would rather, he's up at 61 on DraftKings, which I get. I mean, Atlanta's a joke of a defense. I just would rather, like, in a vacuum, like, I would rather play Tannehill or Fitzpatrick or find the money and go up to, like, Gardner Minshew. Like, that's just me. Like, I just think they have higher upside. Kirk, again, this is probably easily the worst defense he's faced. I think, I was talking at pre-pod, going into my leverage, I think, honestly, like, no one's going to play Cam Newton. And, like, the Broncos D is, like, literally, they have almost no one left. Like, they're so bad. And I just don't think anyone's going to go there when really Cam in the games he's played has shown, like, insane upside. So, and not to mention, if you want to run it back, I mean, dude, no one is going to play Jerry Jeudy, who's, like, now the de facto number one and gets, like, all the targets. Drew Lock is back. Jerry Jeudy might be, like, 3% owned, which is kind of weird because I don't see Gilmore shadowing him, and I think that's an interesting leverage spot, but that's just me.
No, I think it is. I mean, I was talking about it yesterday, playing Cam. The only reason I'm coming a little bit down on it, like we talked about right before we went live, I'm literally just looking at the Bet Karma live odds right now. Some of the games, and there has been, like, substantial line movement in Denver's favor. So what I tend to do is, I do downgrade people at times on Sundays because of that. So I would probably only play Cam on FanDuel. But also, too, Ben, just to point out for you, and we talked about it, obviously, on Monday, the Atlanta game in general, which we all know is going to be popular. I mean, I'm playing Madison, I'm playing Thielen. That total has dropped a significant margin just in the last 2 hours. Again, I'm just looking at this at betkarma.com/live odds. I mean, the live odds are there. For those that don't have it, it's free. I mean, you can have this up. This one of your tabs. I stare at this thing all week long just to see the trends and the lines move. But I do think that's interesting to point out, at least.
I just think that Julio being back is so big for the Falcons. Like, Ryan's splits with and without him, especially this season, have been pretty drastic. So I think if he is actually good to go, there's a better chance of them being able to put up points and then at least somewhat forcing the Vikings to be somewhat aggressive instead of just taking the air out of the ball in the second half.
All right. What's your guys' favorite FanDuel running back? For me, it seems like it's Madison, but or Derrick Henry.
Yeah, it might be Henry on FanDuel just because that's definitely where you want to play him because it doesn't matter if he catches a single pass,
Yeah.
So it's probably Henry.
Top option, obviously Madison, but for me, I absolutely love my two main running backs are Aaron Jones and Kareem Hunt. I like James Robinson a lot. I'm playing 2 GPPs this week on FanDuel, so those are kind of like the three pivot plays for me: Hunt, Aaron Jones, and James Robinson. Of course, there's the other GP guys, but Gaskin, Montgomery, those guys are chalk too.
Yeah, it's Henry. Like, I don't know. Like, I talked about this to Matt last night, but this Bernardrick McKinney being out for the Texans kind of was the final straw for me playing Henry, I think. But I don't know.
All right. You guys like Jefferson or Crowder? I think Crowder's safe. On DK, I'd play Crowder.
Yeah, DraftKings, Crowder, Fanduel, I'd play Jefferson. Jefferson's really cheap on Fanduel.
He's way too cheap. What's up, Frank? All right. We kind of already mentioned. I mean, what's your guys', I guess, just favorite stack of the day? Let's say, let's try to have one that's not like the Lions.
Yeah.
Because
So
I like that one, but
Ben and I are kind of on the same wavelength, which, I mean, I'm attacking both the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Packers. Like, I don't understand why they're not more chalky, honestly. Like, I mean, Ben, we said on Monday that it wasn't going to get talked up. Like, we knew. I cannot believe it. And total's still rising. So that's by far my favorite. I'm guessing that's potentially Ben's too. But also, like I said, I like the Steelers/Browns game as well.
I mean, I think mine, dude. I mean, I'll just piggyback yours. I mean, yeah, mine is the Bucks. Like, I know it's, oh yeah, Brady's washed, Sam's a homer, whatever. But like, he now has Mike Evans and Chris Godwin back. Like, Godwin's been out. The Packers D, besides Jair Alexander, is like not that impressive to me. So like, I don't. And in a game where the Packers should be scoring, I mean, I think the Bucks is kind of a sharp stack. Now that I said that, they're probably gonna bust. But
Yeah,
go ahead. Dude, don't even talk to me about my homerism. Like, you think the Browns are gonna like have a chance to like win this game? They
How did we go 18 minutes without talking about the Browns? Ben,
I mean, there's been 3 comments about the Browns. I purposely skipped them because
someone asked us, Anthony, if this is the biggest Browns game in their franchise history since they returned.
No, I mean, honestly, it pretty much is, which is the complete irony of everything. That's how bad they've been.
Can you finally admit you haven't all week that like Baker is quite hurt?
He's fine. He's fine.
Oh my god! It's just it's like talking to a coach in the interview. It's like talking to Bill Belichick. No, his leg is not broken.
I mean, what's the drop off from Baker to Keenum though? Like, is it really that big of a deal?
Actually, I hate saying it. It's an upgrade, like slightly.
Yeah,
honestly,
it might be. It honestly could be an upgrade at some point.
Weird,
honestly.
because Anthony said that Sam Darnold is better than Baker a couple weeks ago, and Sam Darnold had the same injury that Baker has. They're basically
like I said, if you put Sam Darnold, what you took that out of context. If you put him on a normal team with a coach, like Sam Darnold, he's probably gonna be pretty somewhat more than serviceable, I think, to be honest. Actually,
right,
real quick.
We don't get off the Browns talk. We're gonna be on this for an hour. I can't even. Let's see. Matt, what's up? Not Matt from Karma, different Matt. All right, Claypool, Miami D, or McLaurin, Vikings D for DK Cash. That's an interesting one, actually.
Yeah.
Claypool.
Yeah, I would say Claypool. We need to talk about that, Sam. Why is this? I think McLaurin might be kind of chalky, and I don't know why.
Yeah, it's weird. So I'm playing McLaurin in GPPs just because I do view him as matchup proof. I think this matchup is not good for him, but I mean, and Kyle Allen doesn't help things. But I wouldn't play Terry in cash, but he does have upside for tournaments. I will say though, the Vikings D I think is pretty viable in DK cash just because the Falcons are not afraid to turn it over. So I don't know. I mean, I would lean Claypool Miami D just because the Jets suck, but.
Yeah, McLaurin has a bad individual matchup. He's got Kyle Allen at quarterback. It's pretty much I think it's still the lowest over under the week. I don't know why people want to play him in cash. There's a lot of cheaper receivers on DraftKings, that 5 to 6K range. Yeah, for sure.
We talk about this pre-pod. Is Lindsay a trap? I would never say at 4,300 he's not really a trap. It's it's not like he's going up against the Bucks D who still if they still have Vita Vea and he's 6,000, that's a trap. But he's pretty cheap. I don't think I'm gonna get there just because he is still coming off an injury. The Broncos for some reason want to keep playing Royce Freeman for an unknown reason. So I just don't know how much of a ceiling he gets. And plus Anthony made a good point before the pod. It's you kind of see him as a guy who gets a lot of targets, but he really doesn't. I don't know why. He just doesn't catch a lot of passes. So I wouldn't call him a trap, but I wouldn't say he's a smash value in any way.
Not to mention a young quarterback going in New England, aka Bill Belichick, who's had nothing to do besides study film for like 4 weeks.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, he's gonna.
Yeah, if
he
it
wants-
was any other, pretty much any other matchup, we would probably be playing Lindsay and Cash like a lock. Like if he was against Atlanta
I'd
or
say,
someone
like-
like that.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
I don't think he's a trap just because I don't think he's going to be super high owned. But I think you could play him in tournaments. I think he's going to get 20 touches at least at that price, which is interesting. But I mean, any other matchup, I would be really on him, I think.
Hey, you guys can keep going through some questions here in a minute, but a couple things I'll just bring up. Ben, you said something really well, I think, in Discord last night. Like, why aren't more people? I mean, yes, Mike Davis is going to be owned. We know this. But to your point, he should probably be a little bit more owned. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, they're literally using him like McCaffrey. Like you're getting Christian McCaffrey with probably slightly less athleticism for like $3,000 less. I don't know, it's crazy. I don't know. Like I know the Bears are a tough matchup, but if they're gonna throw the ball to him like they have been, I don't know why people would want to fade him at 7K. Like if just fade him, on a couple teams, you're still gonna be overweight to him. I don't think he's gonna be super chalky. Like I think Henry will be higher owned than him on DraftKings. I think Madison will be higher owned on DraftKings.
Yeah, I think he'll be the fourth highest owned behind Madison, Henry, and Montgomery.
Yeah. So
But still, I mean, yeah. Dude, oh my God. Did you see Adam, speaking of Mike Davis, did you see Adam Levitan getting dragged through the mud on Reddit because he called Mike Davis 90% MC? People just roasted.
people thought he was like an idiot or something. That was funny.
By the way, he's like not that wrong.
No,
Mike
they're
Davis is
using him like that. I mean, they're literally giving him the same. They're actually throwing to him more than they were McCaffrey when McCaffrey was healthy this year.
He's dude, like I was looking at his props last night at Bet Karma, and it's actually funny seeing his props, and you just equate it to DraftKings, and you're like, wait a second. So we're projecting for 5.5 catches. So that's 55 yards rushing on top of his projected 68.5 rushing yards on top of a little bit of receiving of 40 yards. I mean, it's just, how do you not play him? I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. How are we feeling about Gaskin? I love Gaskin every week. Finally, everyone's joining the movement. Join the movement. Miles
You have
Gaskin.
been on that pretty early. I mean, you were talking about it a couple weeks ago for sure.
Yeah. Ben, I think it's safe to say we all like Gaskin. Yeah.
Yeah, I love him. I'm in agreement with you.
Connor or Montgomery, half-point PPR. That's an interesting one, actually.
I'd play
I
Montgomery.
would actually probably go James Conner. I get why you'd play Montgomery, but I'd still play James.
All right, Anthony's the deciding vote.
I'd go Montgomery.
Oh, shocker. Connor playing? Oh, the Browns. The Browns going to shut him down. Yeah.
Hey, what did I say? I don't know if it was last week or the week before in the live stream, or it was either on the cash process, but I remember specifically we were talking about James Conner. We're like, dude, this dude's just a plotter. Like, he does not look good. I know he does have good games at times, but when you just watch him on TV, it's like he's so slow. I honestly can't. That's like my analysis on him, but yeah, I'd go Montgomery.
There's sharp action on the Browns, just for who's wondering.
I know.
Jackson wide receiver for bring back. Would you guys, Ben? All right, that's an interesting one. So Chark, I just saw is officially active. I mean, Chark is really good. I'm upset because I wanted to play Chenault, but I mean, would you play Chark as a bring back or no after that injury?
Yeah, I think you can play him in tournaments. I don't mind it. I do think he has, with how they've been used, I do think he has a little bit higher upside than Chenault. So I think that you can use him for sure. I don't have a problem with it.
For me, it's Chenault, and like that's actually what I'm playing in my bring back stack. I'm not trusting in that injury with Shark, and I think Chenault, like legit, he's actually. I was looking at the player projection, Sam, that you literally cultivate. I mean, he's kind of projects each week a little bit better than we think.
Yeah.
So I like him.
Well, Milan just trolled me for saying I hate Kirk, but I'm in love with Matt Ryan. Touche.
I did not play Matt Ryan. No way.
Dude, Matt Ryan used to be decent. I don't know. I just always bet on Ryan's volume, and this year that absolutely has not worked at all. But Kirk doesn't Mike Zimmer just hates throwing the ball. So I just always will view Kirk as a lesser play because all they want to do is bleed the clock. Big Ben or Stafford?
Well,
One of Anthony's going to say.
And Stafford's obviously the cash play, and Big Ben's obviously the leverage GPP play.
Yeah, I would play Stafford if Big.
Anthony, actual Browns question: What's their injury state? Like, are there any of their corners hurt or no?
The most important injury is Wyatt Teller's out. I mean, he's literally
that's big, man.
Line, which does suck. Nobody will talk about it, but in all fairness, technically the Steelers, like the Castro's out, so it's almost like a 1-for-1. So both teams actually are down like one of their best players.
All right. What's our thoughts on Texans? Yes, about Watson 4 GPP. I like it. I think that'll be high owned actually, but not like in a bad way. But I think that'll be popular.
Yeah,
for good reason.
Yeah. Watson has a really strong history against Tennessee for what it's worth.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what, real quick on Watson. Yes, this probably is going to sound terrible, but every time I play him, it's just like I tell myself not to do it again in at least like a high dollar type lineup. Or I don't know. I mean, he doesn't. I feel like he should be doing more. Like I don't want to use the excuse that he lost to his receiver, but I don't know, man. Something I just don't continue to trust with him, and I'll probably be fading him more often than not. I feel like it was a mistake playing him last week. Actually, looking back, hey, real quick, I'm on the DFS Karma projections portal. I'm in the wide receiver column in specific. Some people in Discord ask how to use this. I mean, literally, you just use it by looking at it and filtering the stats and all that jazz. But something in specific I like to do, I'll filter by ceiling for wide receiver. Again, this is just a free projections portal built by Sam. This is all coming from Sam. So if you don't like the projections, you can yell at him.
I was worried about that. Yeah.
Somebody that sticks out to me that I actually don't have in any lineups, and I probably after this podcast will revisit and maybe throw him in one, is the third highest projected ceiling player on the slate is Allen Robinson, which makes a lot of sense. But our projected ownership, which you conveniently have in here, is fairly low in the single digits. So that's how you win tournaments. I mean, you could build a chalk lineup around Allen Robinson, fade Mike Davis, and, at the end of the day, I don't know. I just think that that's an interesting play. It's not like it always works out, but again, we have had people asking, hey, how do you use it? That's just one feature. I mean, you can sort all these columns and start to dissect things that, you like to bake into your formula. And for what it's worth, he's ranked third in your Karma rank as well.
Dude, his targets are insane. Like, it's absolutely insane.
Yeah, what did he have in his last game? 15, 16, something like that?
Yeah, something like that. I think he has what does he have? 50, I don't even know what he has to this season, but it's insane.
I want your analysis. We'll get to the questions again. Talk to me about Devonta Adams. Yeah, we know he's awesome, but I feel like, I don't know, sometimes, and here's something that I'll bring up in specific. I want to play him in my main lineups on both sites, and I feel like I might lose if I fade him week one. But I did notice that on some of these sports books, there's some props out there where there's a half a catch, meaning obviously wink, wink. And, the payout's like negative 50,000. So you have to be a sucker to bet any serious money or at all. But you can almost tell that they're baiting you, that there is a chance that he could get hurt. That's how I interpreted it. So are you thinking about that at all?
No, I mean, in tournaments, I think it's whatever because I'm not going to play him in cash. But he is, so if he's fine, he's going to be on Carlton Davis, who actually has this strong history of going up against number one receivers. He actually has been pretty good against elite competition. But I think Adams is matchup proof. And you just know, with all their injuries in the passing game and just not having anyone other than MVS, they just don't have anyone to throw to unless you want to count Tanyan. So, I mean, they have Jones for sure to throw to, but I mean, he's going to get volume. So I don't think it matters much in tournaments, but it's enough for cash that it was as the week went on, I just didn't really want to spend up on him.
Make a complete game stack game. That's it.
Yeah.
Alt. Yes.
Alt in the house.
It's just insane. This guy already has the right plays.
He's a legend, dude. He's got us on lock. He knows.
He's on the pot. Oh, you can replace Anthony. Julio.
Come on.
Julio or OBJ on DK. That's a good one, actually. I think both are not going to be played.
Yeah. They both won't be played. I would take Julio, man, for sure. I think.
I would take OBJ.
Oh wait.
I just cannot believe it. I do not believe that Julio is near healthy at all. I think he's
Yeah,
going
that's
to
the
be.
thing that's scary. I mean, he's notorious for trying to play, and then he's done in the first quarter. I mean, I will say that
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Ben. I think it's different. Like, I don't see him hopefully like leaving mid-game, but like I said in the pod, and I maintain, I really think that it makes Ridley that much better because you have to pay attention to Julio now. So I don't know. I just think OBJ is pretty matchup proof and is healthy.
Steelers secondary is beatable, by the way.
Well, okay. I mean, yeah.
I mean,
So Wilkins is out, just for whoever was waiting for that. So it's Jonathan Taylor. Let's go.
I mean, we playing cash or what?
No, but I'm gonna have a ton of him in tournaments.
Yeah, I wish he got more targets, man.
Claypool and cash, yeah, I think we talked about that earlier. I think he's viable in cash. I'm probably not going there myself, but I think he's more than viable, especially on FanDuel.
Yeah, Claypool.
Ben, what's your take on? I kind of like went over like for a second, but what's your take on Minshew? I agree he'll be really well owned. I don't know if it's for me in like the 5 lineups I'm making, but I think Minshew has a lot more upside than people realize.
Yeah, I don't mind him. He kind of has that upside with his legs that he hasn't really shown a ton, but he does have it. I think that the Lions are a really, really good matchup, but I feel like other guys in that range I would rather play. But in terms of ceiling, like I don't think his ceiling is that far off of like Stafford. Like they probably have pretty similar ceilings in the same game, right? But Stafford's going to be way higher owned.
Who's your guys' favorite FanDuel tight ends?
I think Jonnu is going to be chalk on FanDuel. So for like cash, I could see playing him. I like Burton and Ebron. Burton and Ebron are my 2 favorites, but I think Jonnu on FanDuel is going to be pretty popular.
So I have 3 lineups on FanDuel, 1 main, 2 GPPs, and in no particular order, which I love them all, to be honest, is I'm playing Hockenson, Ebron, and Tanyan, actually, going with my Green Bay stack.
I will say, Ben, what do you think about I think the stack of Stafford, Galladay will be really popular, obviously. I actually don't know how owned Hockenson is going to be because I think he makes a lot of sense for a stack, but it's not like he's, really racked up hella targets and touchdowns all year. So I don't really know. I think I'm going to play him in my stack, but I'm interested if you like that play, if you kind of would rather go Marvin Jones.
Yeah, I think Hawkinson's completely fine. I do like Jones for tournaments, but he just looks so washed. Like I've chased that almost every week of the season, and I'm getting burnt out on it. But I don't know. I think Hawkinson's fine, and they haven't Jacksonville hasn't been super good against tight ends, so I think the matchup's good.
I'm actually looking at Hockenson the props right now. Technically, our simulations are projecting him for under 4.5 catches. But the one thing you can think about it inversely, which I actually like, I was doing this last night with some of these props at Bet Karma. Again, this is all free. Go click there, check out the props. It's actually a higher prop relative to than a lot of the guys in the market. And it's not like he's that expensive on FanDuel, in my opinion. So that's kind of why I like him. And if you're playing Stafford, it's almost like somewhat contrarian to have him. If he catches 2 touchdowns and everybody's playing Galladay anyways, you can skyrocket up the leaderboard no matter what happens with your lineup because people are playing Galladay.
That's a good point, actually. This is a good one, actually. I debated this morning. Would you guys pay up for Juju, who I agree is not going to be owned, or just pay down to Claypool? It's weird. I thought I kind of want to play Juju, but he kind of is just not. I don't know. He's still really good, and obviously, it's not like he doesn't get targets, but Claypool, I don't know. Ben seemed pretty locked in him last week, and I think Claypool. Ben, do you think Claypool will be in the slot where the Browns have gotten wrecked, or do you think it's going to be more Juju?
Yeah, it's going to be majority Juju, but they do move Claypool around. I think he's around 30% in the slot for the season. Denzel Ward stays on one side of the field and doesn't move. So they'll be able to get Claypool off of Ward throughout the game and different things. But Juju's going to see the most time in the slot. But I think the reason we like Juju so much is just because Claypool's going to be so high owned. What's the chances that Juju outscores him, right? They're pretty even, and then you're considering Claypool being like 25% more owned. So I think in tournaments, Juju's the easy play, especially at his price. Like no one's going to play him at that price because you got Thielen around him. You've got A.J. Brown cheaper. You got other guys that are just going to be higher owned right in that price range.
Well, yeah, I mean, Claypool's like the 25th, I think, most expensive wide receiver. I mean, he's definitely it seems like he's got too much of a price bump, but he's probably too cheap, honestly. Yeah. But actually, this is record. I mean, Grafano. Anthony, you ever figure out how to pronounce his name from Discord? Is it Grafano?
He yelled at me for calling it wrong. He's the GOAT in golf.
He's a good dude, but I don't. I've told people before. Yeah, he's like Big Ben stack with Juju, Claypool, and then Washington or Ebron. Is that too much? I mean, not too much. I was talking to someone else. It's the same thing. Why I rarely, and it can work, but I'll rarely have a stack with 2 guys and then bring it back with another 2. It's just really hard to imagine 5 guys in the same game, all hitting a ceiling or close to it. It just based on math probability, it's not that high. So I normally try to pick 2, but Ben, I'm not sure. If you take the Atlanta, Minnesota, or Lions game, would you stack 3 guys at quarterback, or would you keep it 2?
It's probably 2. I don't know. Like you said, if you stack 3 guys with a quarterback, you're just counting on way too much to go right. How do 3 guys all hit their ceiling? Unless it was some historic game, right?
Yeah, if your quarterback's got to throw 4 touchdowns or more and probably 300 yards, and they've got to at least all get,
Well, the weeks that it does happen is the weeks that those, people who played $20 in the dream really maker. You're wasting money. I thought about it actually this week looking at my Roethlisberger team, and I'm like, there's no way, I'm not playing this week in specific 100 lineups. So no, I wouldn't do that either. Hey, back to the Claypool scenario. Ben said it perfect. It's such an easy play. You're playing him in cash, whatever. You can still cash. You can still win your 50-50s, your double ups, whatever you're playing for cash games. If he tanks, if Claypool, doesn't perform and doesn't hit value, but you can murder in GPPs if you go to Juju and he goes off. I mean, that's why you always should have some exposure in tournaments. Period. Some people, I get it, playing one lineup. I mean, I do it at times too, but you got to have some GPPs out there. I mean, that's how you have your exponential growth with your bankroll.
Yeah. Would you guys rather play Henry, Evans, Ronald Jones, or Davis, Adams, Gaskin? Boy, what a loaded question. For me, it's probably Davis, Adams, Gaskin, but I do not like Derrick Henry, so
Yeah, I'd go with the same one you just said, Davis, Adams, Gaskin.
Yeah, here's the thing. I'm proven wrong by Derrick Henry most weeks, but he kind of, with his lack of involvement in the passing game, he kind of needs to go for 100 yards and 2 touchdowns.
On Fanduel, he does get 9K.
Yeah, I mean,
DraftKings, he's too cheap.
Yeah, DraftKings, he's probably underpriced. You're probably more in the 8s.
But it's weird because you can say he's underpriced on DraftKings, but pretty much every running back on this slate is underpriced on DraftKings. So it's not he's a glaring value and no one else. It's all these guys are too cheap.
Yeah. Well, guess we'll kind of we'll get defense later probably. This is a good one, Ben. And Anthony. James Robinson for DK Cash. I don't hate that play in cash. I just think there's better options that I would go to, but I don't think he's a bad play. I just 3 or 4 guys have I think a better floor than he does. But I think James Robinson's an awesome play.
Yeah, I think he's fine in tournaments, but I don't know if I would play him in cash.
I mean, I'm playing James Robinson in my line stack, honestly. He's so involved in every aspect of the game.
For the record, he was actually my main lineup on both sites for kind of most of the week. I knew I was going to change him, but I wanted to remind myself that I liked him that much to make sure to get exposure in literally one of my main tournaments. So, yeah, I'm playing him, just not in cash.
I think someone asked Gaskin or Montgomery. For me, it's Gaskin, but
yeah, I like Gaskin.
Yeah, Gaskin.
Cash, Stafford, Thielen, or Stafford, Galladay. I mean,
If you had to choose, you got to go Galladay if you're playing Stafford.
Yeah.
For the stack, I mean, for the record, I think Thielen probably has a higher floor than Galladay. But if I'm playing Staff, I just go Galladay.
Yep.
Galladay might be the highest owned, one of the highest.
Yeah, he's going to be really chalky.
Yeah. Ronald Jones or James Robinson Fanduel.
Oh man.
I don't know. I mean, Ben, what's the price of it? It's probably got to be.
I might take Jones, dude. Honestly.
Really? Yeah. I mean, the problem with Ronald Jones is I think he's not game script independent. I think he'll be pretty involved. What I will say is I don't know how much he can get if they're trailing by, say, Rodgers throws 3 touchdowns like the first quarter or something. Like, I don't know how involved he'll be the rest of the game. I think James Robinson is going to.
I'm looking actually at the Bet Karma props for this game live as you guys brought that stuff up. And I mean, Sam, a lot of the simulations are projecting Ronald Jones for quite a favorable game. I mean,
the Packers bleed to the running backs. Like, they get killed.
It's one of our best projected bets at Bet Karma of the week is Ronald Jones, the over 15.5 reception yards prop. So that's a really good indicator. This is, again, I know we're talking DFS, DraftKings, FanDuel, but you can leverage the betting market, which is why we have 2 of these companies, and bake these ideas into your own equations for better or worse, really. But I mean, this is stuff that I like to do.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's a good, I mean, Vegas knows, dude. It's a good way to tell.
Yeah. I mean, Vegas knows at the end of the day, you know?
Yeah. Yep. Min price P Ryan, any shot? No, that meant team.
No, that's more of like a guy to pick up in season long and see what happens today.
Yeah,
not like, someone I would want to play in DFS.
You're playing Showdown? Oh, yeah, load him up.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Taylor over Madison or Davis? No. In tournaments.
In tournaments, yeah.
Not in cash. Okay, let's start to get more here. Henry okay for DK cash? Yeah, he'll be probably one of the highest owned in cash.
Wow.
Okay, Ben, this seems like a season long because there's pick 3: Julio, Evans, Claypool, Lamb.
Julio, Evans, Claypool, Lamb. Pick 1.
No, and Lamb. Pick 3 of the 4.
Oh, pick 3 of the 4. Okay. Well, definitely Lamb. Definitely probably Evans. So then you would be down to Claypool, and like if you think Julio's healthy or not.
Dude, what a world! I was between Claypool and Julio.
For me, like I would play Julio. Like if he's in, he wasn't on the final injury report. Whatever, I'm playing.
You have to.
Yeah, I would play him.
Yeah, I probably agree. Hooper on DK. I think he's a pretty sharp GPP play. I'm not sure if I'll get there, but no one's gonna play him. He can easily catch 2 touchdowns.
No one except me.
Right. That's partially why I'm fading.
Hey, real quick, I want to keep going back to because again, we get these DMs, people talk about it throughout the week, and we do have to use our media channel to, educate a little bit more on the process at Bet Karma. So I'm going to the Pittsburgh game, the Cleveland game. Ironically, I will say you don't always have to agree with things, even including myself. Chase Claypool probably is a really good bet, I will say, to bet the under. And, Bet Karma is screening that with like the number 1 play in the game is taking the under in the receptions market and taking advantage of the public getting so giddy. We know he's a great play in DFS, but 5.5 catches is a lot. So that sticks out. And then also, too, we are projecting Kareem Hunt with about 12.5 more yards, which is significant at Bet Karma. So it's a really good bet just to take that individual rushing prop of over 62.5. But again, you can extrapolate to things we talked about earlier. Ben's talked during the week about Browns having a good run zone scheme against this defense that likes the blitz. It does set up pretty well. And, we all know Kareem Hunt's talented. So I think it's kind of like a win-win-win, potentially, putting these ideas to paper, not only in just DFS, but again, the betting market. So that's why it's there. But I like Kareem Hunt a lot, man, as a tournament play. The more I look at things, even looking at the Bet Karma projections.
Yeah. I mean, I think Kareem Hunt, as much as the Browns are, terrible, but I think Kareem Hunt is a sharp play. I mean, Andy, I don't even know how much, like last week, it seemed like he was pretty involved all game. I mean, I don't know if at the end, it seemed like Is Hunt fully not hurt, you think, or you think he still has it?
Are you replying to like, yeah, technically you're right. In the late fourth quarter, he didn't play much because he was cramping up, but it was just
No,
cramps.
I didn't know if that was like a serious thing. I have no idea.
Yeah, he was just
stretching,
cramping.
coming back. So I mean, yeah, if that happens, that sucks, obviously, but he should be the guy. I mean, he should be like the guy this week, and he's going to get lost in the sauce with all these other guys priced at $7,000, really on both sides. I think he is that like first play you need. If he scores 2 touchdowns and goes off this week, I mean, he's going to have 4 catches probably. He could like win you a GPP, on DraftKings too.
Yep. Would you look at that? Alt loves James Robinson. I mean, that's might be the lock of the day. I mean, this is insane.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay, Galladay cash lock for me. Yep. I feel like you guys probably like him too. I mean, I don't care if he's 6,200. He seems too cheap. He's just really good. Godwin or Evans? Oh, dude.
Godwin.
I mean, Godwin is a god. I kind of have to play him.
Well, isn't J.R. Alexander going to be on Mike Evans? I mean, isn't he?
I assume he'll be on Evans, but I don't know. I mean, yeah.
I mean, it's
By the
just
way,
Godwin has looked so good with Brady, man.
Because he's a god. That's why.
This screams Godwin breaking the slate. Granted, he's healthy. I mean, I haven't paid attention too much. It seems like
who would break the slate with? Tom Brady, who's going to be like 3% owned.
Yeah, nobody wants to play him ever. He's still rushing touchdowns too.
Remember, dude, at the beginning of the year, Brady was washed, but then he went to the Bucs, and now the Bucs were good. And I was like, pick one. That doesn't make sense. Okay. What? Second question about P. Ryan. No, dude. I watch. P. Ryan's gonna score like 3 touchdowns now and get completely trolled. But I don't.
I mean, I don't think he's like it's just like on a big main slate, I wouldn't want to play him. If we were playing like a 3-game slate, that's one thing. But I do think like he's going to be involved.
Dude, someone said on Twitter, it's so true. Gase will be like, okay, how do the Dolphins get crushed in the slot? All right, let's run Frank Gore 35 times this game.
Hey, Jordan Wilkins is playing, by the way. You said he wasn't.
What?
I saw he was out, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, he's available. He's playing. That changes things a bit there. Also, Curtis Samuel, not that it's huge news, he's out. I mean, DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson, I feel like nobody's going to play them this week, and that's kind of interesting when you think about Samuel not being involved. Frankly, this honestly helps Mike Davis, again, because Samuel was taking running back carries, to be honest, 4 carries a week, right? Maybe 5, 6.
Yeah, you were correct. Wilkins is in, but they don't know how much he's going to play. But yeah, I don't know why. Whatever I saw that said he was out is clearly.
All right, Justin Jefferson, Devonta Freeman, Jonnu Smith, Slayton, pick 2. That's an interesting one. For me, actually, I would literally pick Jonnu Smith and probably Darius Slayton. That's a bad take, probably, but like he just is getting so much volume.
Yeah, I actually don't mind that.
I think Justin Jefferson's fine. Devonta Freeman. I know. I mean, I don't know. Dude, the Washington front 7 is like not that bad. Plus, Chase Young's back.
Is he?
Yeah, pretty sure.
I like the Washington bet side of things.
I do too. I took him at +3 like an absolute fish. They're gonna lose by like 20.
Yeah. Guys are betting on that. Like their number 1 play in the Sportfolio play this week is Washington at +3.
You know the lock, Anthony. The lock bet of the week that I've played 3 times now is the Steelers to cover. And it's just like,
I mean, hey, like I said, obviously I want the Browns to win. It's gonna be. It depends on who gets up front. If the Browns somehow go up like 14-0, they literally can win this game. But if they go down, then yeah, they're basically toast, in my opinion. Just the way the game flows.
I got it at -3, so at least I can get a push if these garbage Browns come back. But okay. Quick cash. Would you take this pair would you take Galladay, Robinson, or Adams Claypool? Interesting. Probably Adams Claypool, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Final 10 minutes here. Let's get these questions. Any rapid fire questions that you haven't asked, just throw it our way.
All right. We'll start 2 full PPR. AJ Brown, Rojo, Crowder. I would probably go Crowder. Ooh. God, Ben, is the play PPR AJ Brown and Rojo?
I would probably
Or
play
the-
AJ Brown.
What?
I would probably play AJ Brown, but that's close.
I agree. Safe to put. Yeah, Ben. This is a question. I struggle with this too. Would you play Derrick Henry and AJ Brown in the same lineup for cash? And I assume if you're playing them, you're probably playing Tannehill. I think in cash, it's not the worst.
Cash, it's fine.
Yeah, and tournaments, I probably would not do that.
Yeah, because you're not looking for ceiling in cash games, correct? You're just looking to
Yeah.
beat half of the field.
Yeah. Oh, I missed this one. Rank. Oh, this is funny, Ben. This is exactly what we're talking about. So rank Fitz, Tannehill, Stafford on DK. So I'd say for me in tournaments, it's Staff, Tannehill, Fitz, and in cash, it's Tannehill, Staff, Fitz.
Hey,
You
Ben.
said that.
Yeah.
Real
Go
quick.
ahead.
I mean, not that this is like a huge slate breaking question, but Trey Burton, I mean, I know, like, I get it, but what are we really projecting him for here? Like, is this guy are you considering him in your cash games on DraftKings?
I'm playing him in cash.
Yeah,
he ran the most.
I'm playing him in cash.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ben, for you, who is your favorite cash QB on DK?
Yeah, I think that I think Stafford has to grade out probably as the top play, but fitting him over Tannehill or Fitz is a challenge. I think that as we've gone on this morning, late last night this morning, I think I lean slightly to Tannehill over Fitz. So I think it's Stafford or probably Tannehill in cash.
I'm just going to say it. Like, I think Fitz should have a good game. He's played really well, but man, when the world is on Fitzpatrick, doesn't that just asking for like a 3 interception game? Like, oh my God. Like,
I almost feel a little bit eerie about him. I came a little bit, not more off him, just because of similar vibes. I don't know. That Jets team just is the worst team I've ever seen in my life, and I've seen a lot of Browns.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I like Gaskin just to hopefully freaking slow the pace too a little bit. He's still going to get like 4 catches too, which is great for DraftKings.
Andy Dalton or Deshaun Watson? Deshaun Watson. That's not even.
Yeah, for sure.
I can't even. Claypool or Jefferson at flex, and Ebron or Schultz at tight end, non-PPR. Non-PPR, I'd probably go Jefferson and Schultz.
No, you got to go the other way.
I would
You'll
play
get a guaranteed touch.
I would
Dude,
play
Jefferson has Jefferson could easily catch like 3 catches for 106.
But he said half point PPR, I thought. I mean,
No, he said no. He said no PPR.
No PPR. Yeah, that's even more reason. Ebron and, in my opinion, Claypool, just touchdown type players by definition.
Schultz is so involved in that offense. I mean, I guess with
Yeah,
that,
I might play. I would probably play Claypool and Schultz. That would probably be my 2.
That's fair. I guess yeah. Montgomery or Gaskin and cash. We've gotten this question a couple times. It's Gaskin for me, but I get why it's Montgomery for people. I just think Montgomery is just not that good. But I get the opportunities there. He's probably too cheap. Season long half PPR, 2 of the 3. Singletary, James White, Deebo Samuel. Ooh. Yikes.
Not James White, I think.
Yeah, I just can't trust who the ball's going to go to in the running backs. I agree.
That's my guy, though.
I know that is Anthony's guy.
Simmons, Jeff Smith. Yeah, dude, I would have liked Jeff Smith a lot, but I guess they all said so. Perryman's playing. That kind of sucks. If Perryman's out, I thought Jeff Smith was a great punt.
Yeah, I think
Perryman good by.
he was
What?
good on the Browns when he was here. I thought they were going to bring him back, but they didn't.
He was on the Browns, of course he was.
Yeah, that's like kind of where he like turned his career back around. Then he went to Tampa last year and balled out at the end of the year with Jameis.
They were
Oh,
boys.
thank you. Actually, this guy said also, and Barrios is playing too. Yeah, I'm not playing.
Yeah, I'll pass on Jeff Smith. Yep.
Need one. Cooper Kupp, Robbie Anderson. Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
Okay, actually, yeah, I still think though. I mean, assuming it's PPR, but yeah, I mean, Robbie Anderson has played great, but I will say this is definitely a different matchup than against the Falcons. So,
yep.
Freeman, no interest at all. Whether you're talking about Devonta or Royce Freeman, I have no interest in either one.
Freeman, I don't know. I feel like
No.
type of,
No.
he's only 4,900 though. I mean, that's why I was looking at him.
But dude, he's like he might get like 3 carries for 9 yards.
He played pretty well against the Cowboys, I thought. watching the game at least.
Oh, sorry, you're talking Devonta Freeman. Devonta Freeman, I guess, is more. I thought you meant Royce Freeman. He was like,
Oh no, sorry, my bad.
yeah. Let's see. Trey Burton, easy money. Yep. Could have sworn that was alt. This guy just said MVS or this guy's confusing me. He goes MVS or Scantling. I would venture to say that.
I would take the nicknamed version.
Oh my God, is that Dab's real name, Chris? I want another scratcher.
Yes,
Dude,
that is Chris.
I did not know that was his name.
Chris
Dude.
just pounds the scratchers and never loses. I've never understood this. This guy,
I have never seen a win rate on lottery tickets like this. I mean, actually, it's legitimately insane. Dude, he tags Ethan and I every day, and it's like, oh, we're only like $200. And I'm like, how? Like, what is this story?
I've never won those things like ever.
Never once. Never. When I turned 18, I bought a lottery ticket and bought 4 of them, and I've never won anything since. Fitz or Staff? I lean Staff.
Stafford.
Oh, Jake, get out of here with your Turk, dude. Your team Vikings are so bad. Okay, I mean, I guess before we end in a second, I guess we'll talk about defenses. I don't know, Ben. I mean, I think in cash, if you want to go super punt, I know you probably like the Bengals still, I think are fine. The Vikings have a bad defense, but the Falcons definitely turn the ball over. I like
I think for cash on DK, it's Vikings or Dolphins, one of those two. And then for tournaments, I really like the Washington football team against the Giants. I think that's a good spot for some sacks.
Am I the only fish that's playing the Bengals?
Yeah, because
it's
the Colts their offense is so boring and they're so banged up. They're missing 4 key guys. Man, I just can't do it. Like the Vikings are what, 200 more?
Yeah, they are exactly.
Yeah, at least we know Matt Ryan will be passing and they could get some sacks maybe.
I do really like the Steelers D. Obviously, I mean they're playing a terrible team. I mean, I think the Colts D are viable. I don't know how owned they're going to be. I think they'll get ownership.
Colts D is fine. It's just fitting them is a problem. But
oh yeah, I agree, Dave. Poulter and Kokrak. I need Kokrak to win to save my week.
I can't believe Kokrak making a run, man. That guy.
Dude, if he wins, if he wins, I don't want to hear shit from anybody about my plays this week because they sucked. But that would be a good call.
Hey, I tailed you with him, man. He's second place right now.
The problem is he's such a loser. He's not.
He's crushing.
Thoughts on Juju? Yeah, we both. I like Juju. I'm now after this pod. I'm now tempted to play Juju.
I love Juju.
Yeah, you got. I mean, Juju is going to annihilate. First off, the Browns. Yes, I'll agree with you. They suck against the Steelers. And Juju's a part of this legacy with Big Ben. They're gonna. Every week around here, we say just attack the Browns in the middle, and Ben already told us Juju's going to be the guy in the middle. So I think he's a way better play in a vacuum actually than Claypool. But we got to play Claypool in cash because I mean you have to. I guess he's that cheap on Fanduel, especially.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anything else? Another couple minutes here. Last minute questions. Anything we should go over? I don't really see any other news other than some of the things we talked about a few minutes ago. We cleared up the air.
I'm shocked. This is the first Irv Smith question we've gotten.
Yeah. I am too.
I have zero interest in Irv Smith.
Yep.
He's baller though, but yeah, it's just.
Why would I play? Dude, is that not the Adam Troutman play of the week? Is Irv Smith?
Oh my God, it screams it too.
So is, man. He has had multiple zeros this year. He literally has had multiple zeros.
Plus, there isn't Rudolph playing. I mean,
he's still there. Yeah.
He just signed a contract with them last year. It's not like Rudolph's this old, lumbering soul out there. I mean, he's still.
Not to mention, doesn't really throw his type. Antonio Gibson, GVP. Yep, love Antonio Gibson every week. He's going to be my main lineup, and probably another one. So
I never play him except week 1. I had lost.
Wow.
Anthony will never play Gibson now because he lost in his first ever NFL game.
Yeah.
So stupid. It's ridiculous. Do you worry the Minnesota game could turn very slow? Yeah, because Minnesota is like the most boring team alive.
We talked about that early on the podcast, actually. I mean, it could happen, man. Like, that's the one thing about that game, which it's interesting, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that's a very possible. I mean, that was just like so annoying versus Seahawks. Like, the reason why everyone's like, well, Russ isn't doing much. Like, yeah, because they've had the ball for 20 minutes of 60. Like, it's absurd. Yeah, no, I get Irv Smith as a punt, and like at 2,500, you can pay up other places. But like, I just don't understand. Like, for me at least, like I have no problem this week without cheap like running backs are and everything. Like getting to Trey Burton, who I know is like involved in the game for 600 or more, just seems super obvious, at least to me.
All right. Anything else, guys?
I think we covered it pretty well.
Yeah. All right.
Get out of here.
Ladies and gentlemen, good luck this week. As always, all of our content, literally all sports, dfskarma.com. Of course, we talked a lot today about betkarma.com, a lot of free stuff there. Good luck this week. Hopefully we see some big winners on Twitter. All right, guys.